Hi there, crafty pals. Louise here. Thanks so much for checking out this 12 by 12 scrapbook layout video. It is the final, and then I am going to crack open my new Vicki Boutin collection. I am doing my best these days to try and do multi-photo layouts. It is a challenge for me. I am mostly a single photo scrapper, but occasionally I will have a series of photos that deserve to be a multi-photo layout. And when that's the case, I will generally print them in a smaller size. So I've got one that's a bit of an odd size. It's trimmed down from a 4x6. And then I've got the three matching photos that are 3x4s. And this is quite fun because yeah, you get the story and still understand the gist of the memory, but you've got sort of a highlight photo and then you've got a few little matching photos. And so in this case, we're back to golf again. Hopefully you're not sick of seeing too many of my golf layouts. It does tend to play a big part in our lives, and I do snap more photos there than I do pretty much anywhere else in our lives. So mostly I try to mix it up with a little bit of cat memories and a little bit of golf memories, and yeah, have a bit of fun along the way. So this was actually a different course. We'd gone away for a bit of a family break with some relatives, and we took the opportunity to visit a golf club we'd never played before. And so halfway through the 18 holes, you know, we sat down, we had some lunch, I had a wine and a bit of chocolate to perk me up and give me some energy to finish the last 9 holes. So that's part of that memory, and I do try to get a selfie in there somewhere as well. Now, as you can see, I've chosen just a pre-made background paper, so I'm still using Vicki Boutin's Flower Emporium. I'm trying to bust as much as I can. I got a bit excited when I purchased it, and I did buy everything in the collection, so I've got all the rub-ons, all the ephemera, and everything in between. And today I want to focus a little bit on the rub-on side of things. You know, I have scrapped a few layouts where I've used lots of ephemera and just little bits and pieces of rub-ons here and there, but I really need to go the whole hog and go with a really in-depth rub-on layout. So I am spending a little bit of today's video in that sort of rub-on space. That'll come later in the video. For now, what I like to do is just really prepare how I'm going to create my layers, and I want to make sure that I've got that sort of story grid effect going on, so that tends to work for me as I'm putting things together. You can see I'm building here with some distressed edges, some pattern paper, some tags, some journaling spots, little pieces of the ephemera. I cannot believe just how much I still have of this collection left to use up. It is honestly so full, and you know, sometimes you think to yourself when you're creating a layout, is this too much? Have I gone too far? Have I added too much? And sometimes less is more is the winner, and sometimes more is more, and just keep going until you're happy. So I really loved the grid that I had built here, and so gluing some of this down was going to become important as I moved on to build those background layers. So once I'm pretty happy with how things are looking, I'm going to glue most of everything at least to that little backing strip. And the only thing I haven't glued is that little tag, and that's because I'm going to use that as a little bit of a hidden journaling sort of spot. And I'm going to just tuck that in behind those layers later on once this background is finished. Now, often when I'm working in a background, you'll see me do one of two techniques. It'll either be this sort of square background, or it'll be the circular round background to match whatever I happen to have going on. With the grid style that I had here, the square was going to work really beautifully. A circle would have worked too, but in this case, I'm going to go square. And after I sort of insert the square, I realize I have covered up most of that, and I need to come up with a way to make that square still be visible. And probably the easiest thing to do is to just turn it into sort of a double square, and you can see that my lines, I'm not too fussed. I actually purposely make them overlap a little bit and run a bit wild, because I find that for me, that's actually looks nicer than if I have tried to draw a straight line and it ended up curved and didn't work with that background. So I don't mind my lines being a little bit messy, and here's where I'm going to come about in terms of using up as many of these rub-ons as I can. So They are really great. I do love the rub-ons. I never felt like they fit my scrapping style. So when I get the chance to use them, absolutely I will, like in this case. Yeah, it took a while to get me warmed up to them as such. So spreading different layers of them around, I'm going to fill up this rectangle that I've made just by spreading around those different layers of the rub-ons. Now, the layout itself, yeah, some of this does get covered up, but you get the idea. And really, this is just stash busting for me. So sometimes, yes, if some of this does get covered up, I'm not too concerned, because the feeling of actually getting these onto a page and not having them hang over my head in terms of getting them used from stash can often feel a lot better than worrying that I've tucked something in where it's not going to be seen. So adding the different rub-on elements, the layout itself is essentially finished. I won't be adding any more mixed media beyond this, which is unusual for me. So this is just about, yeah, creating that little area of interest and finishing that grid style that I have built. All right, how are we looking? Pretty close to the end of this video, so what I might do is let you have a look at what's happening at the end, but I'm going to say goodbye and leave you with this one. I loved this stash busting, I loved the multi-photo, and I am ready to crack into some Artful Moments and hopefully mix some of that with some Vicki stash as well. All right, that's my share for you today. As always, happy scrapping. Thank you for visiting. I appreciate all your comments and likes, and happy creating. Please, if you haven't already, make sure that you are subscribed, and feedback is always welcome on any of my videos. So thank you so much.